A British couple had the flight from hell after they took off from the UK only to land back there 15 hours later. Paul Davies, 71, and wife Anna, 60, were all set for a holiday in Madeira when they boarded their easyJet flight at Bristol Airport. Nursery kicks out boy, 2, for scratching other kids and his family is livid, but their 3 hours and 40 minutes flight turned into a grueling 15 hours due to bad weather. The holidaymakers, who were due to land in Funchal for a week-long break, eventually ended back in Bristol with 4,000 miles under their belts. Paul, of Llanishen, Cardiff, said, "When we approached the island, the captain said that due to strong winds there may be a problem landing. We circled for a while and then he said it was not possible to land, so he said we would head back to Lisbon, which is an hour and a half away, and rethink from there. When we got there, they told us we weren't able to get off the plane and if we wanted to stretch our legs we had to do it in the aisles. After an hour and a half they said the weather conditions had improved in Madeira, so we're going back." Doctor sacked after slapping woman's bottom said she wanted a piece of the pie. After another hour and a half, we got back to Madeira and we were circling again and again, and then the captain came on and said things had deteriorated again and there are 8 aircrafts who were ahead of us and unable to land. Wind conditions meant that the plane would be unable to land and had no alternative but to head back. Passengers were then told they would have to stop in Porto and cut off there instead of heading home, which 39 people did. Paul said, "When we got to Porto, they told us they would have to get all the luggage off the plane and back on again, which would take 2 hours. They gave us a food voucher to go into the airport, and once the 39 had disappeared the rest of us set off back for home. We arrived in Bristol at 8 p.m. and got back home around 10 p.m. Fake doctor left woman with a frozen face after botched Botox. LA had been traveling for around 15 hours and got absolutely nowhere. Did a little more than 4,000 miles and didn't even get to our holiday. It was an incredible experience. In 4,000 miles you can get to the west coast of America. They did all they could and we have been told we should get a full reimbursement for the flight and accommodation." Man hacked pensioner, 81, to death and set her on fire on easyJet. Spokesperson said, "easyJet would like to apologize to Mr. and Mrs. Davies for their experience due to the weather conditions preventing us to land in Funchal on April 23. The flight was unfortunately unable to land in Funchal as the winds were outside of aircraft limits. As a result, the captain diverted to Porto after weather conditions in Funchal continued to worsen and passengers were offered the opportunity to disembark there to return to Bristol. 39 passengers chose to stay in Porto with the remainder, including Mr. and Mrs. Davies, returning to Bristol. We provided passengers in Bristol with hotel accommodation if required and the option to transfer onto the next available flight or receive a full refund." One-eared stray cat has finally been adopted after being found shaking and pawing. Whilst the reason for the flight cancellation was outside of easyJet's control, easyJet would like to apologize and understands how disappointing it would have been for passengers. "We have apologized to Mr. and Mrs. Davies and are in contact with them directly. The safety and well-being of passengers and crew is always easyJet's highest priority.